I got some news from your home state
Okay.
that I didn't really understand, but I wanted to run this by you. And
Sure.
This is near breaking news. I mean, it's good enough. It's good enough
Okay.
for prime time,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
So you're familiar with Texas Tech University?
Oh,
From
you mean
your home,
Texas, not California? Yes. Yes. Of
not
course,
California.
I'm
When I say your
very
home,
familiar with Texas
yeah,
Tech.
when I say your home state, I always think of Texas because
Okay.
that's where you
Fair
grew
enough.
up,
That's
in
that's a
Texas.
that's a fair
And
assumption. And the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Yes. There you go.
yes, Red Raiders. Do you know that this whole thing about tortilla throwing? Are you familiar with this?
I am familiar with this.
Yeah. So
Yes.
basically, for those that don't know, I just found out about this, and I am aghast. I'm like, I cannot believe what's going on. So basically, they're not. This thing about like throwing tortillas on the field is like a big deal to them, but
That's right.
apparently they were doing it. The fans were doing it so much during the football games that the Red Raiders were penalized, and now the coach and the athletic director told them, no, you can't bring your tortillas in anymore. And I think
That's
this is
right.
the saddest story of all the stories of all the stories this week in the news. This is the worst. This
Yeah.
is the worst of all the horrible things going on, that you're not allowed to bring tortillas in to Red Raider Stadium.
It's a
Gotta
tortilla
break my
ban.
heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you? I mean, or what are you doing about this? I mean,
You
you
know,
have to be
I
livid.
feel sorry for those who can't make their, 50-yard line burritos. But player safety is all I'm going to say. Is player safety. It's all about player safety, because
Well, it's not
when
like,
you get hit by a tortilla, you've been hit with something.
I mean, it's not like a burrito. It's not like a chimichanga. They're not
No.
like throwing like
No, it's like a frisbee. Yeah, you're flinging it.
they're
Flinging
flat,
a tortilla.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but are they hard tortillas?
No.
They like break? They're
No. These are soft tacos.
They are soft
These are flour tortillas for the most part, and they are
Why would they
basically
hurt
like
anybody though if they're
pillow
not
frisbees.
filled?
They're
If it's
pillow
filled with
frisbees.
refried beans, I could understand like somebody's in danger. But if it's not filled with refried beans and ground beef, nobody's going to get hurt. What is the problem? This is what's wrong with college football.
That is it. That's really it. It's tortilla D-Day is really what it is.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go on with this because I have to. Now, after the game, don't you want to go on and pick them up and then reuse them? Or are they not usable? Do they keep them in the plastic?
These are all really great questions that I think that deserve an answer. I mean, because you could see how it's really a fajita party at the end of the game there.
Oh my God. And then you have so many fajita bar. You go on the field, there's a fajita bar, you pick up your tortillas from the ground and you fill them with whatever you want, whatever wonderful delightness you want. I think that's probably all I got.
Yeah, it's the sweat and basically filled with the sweat and desperation of a losing Texas Tech team. How about that?
And now, for your listening pleasure, here's Polizzi and Rose, covering the week of media, marketing, and digital content news. Take it away, boys.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to This Old Marketing, proudly brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. And I'm Robert Rose. And with me, as usual, is my pal, my colleague, and the happiest guy in the world now that Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau are officially dating, Mr. Joe Polizzi. I know you're a fan. I know you're a fan.
They're a very good-looking couple.
They're a very cute couple.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, Katy Perry, of course, and you know that I've loved Katy Perry for a long time.
I do. I know that you're a Katy Perry
content
fan.
Marketing worlds.
Yeah.
But Justin Trudeau, I mean, it's kind of hot too. So
they're both very good looking. Yes, they're both very good looking.
I didn't think so. And is that even allowed anymore? I thought that like with most of our celebrity relationships going on, you usually have to have like one that's really young and beautiful and one that's really old and rich. That's it. Like I think of like Bill Belichick and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and whoever he's
and whoever
he's with, right? So this is interesting. They're both around the same age.
You have two very beautiful people. This is not unlike. It's not unlike. Well, no, it is very much unlike. I was going to say it's not unlike George Clooney and his wife, but actually they're both brilliant as well as beautiful. I mean, she's just absolutely a brilliant woman. Does all the sorts of stuff for UN and stuff like that. But and Katy Perry is definitely not that, right? She's
But
definitely
she went to space. She went to
she did go to space. She did go to space.
I mean, don't
and
take that away from her. Don't.
No,
You're
I
just
won't.
another one of
I
those
won't.
guys.
No, I'm a
You're
hater.
trying to
Yeah,
take
you're
that
right.
away.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
totally
yeah,
hating. You know the cutest thing I saw last night is I was watching the Dodgers game, and Harry and Meghan.
That's not a cute thing. That was not a cute. That was not a cute
yes,
game
I
last
know.
night. Yeah.
That as we record this, it's tied to too. But
Yeah.
but Meghan and Harry, former Prince Harry, were in the front row, cute as could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you don't like them.
They
huh?
just
You're
live up
not-
the road. They live up the road in Santa Barbara, so they came down for the game. Yeah.
You're neighbors with everybody. You're just
I live in Hollywood. What are you going to do? I mean, Southern California is where all the beautiful people are, except for Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau, because they now live in Canada, right? So
do they live in? I figured that was going to be a Canadian move. So
you have to. I mean, right? I mean, they
that's
probably split their time. They probably split their time, I would think. Yes.
That's kind of what Canadians are doing right now. They're kind of taking our U.S. talent.
Oh, there's a lot going on that whole situation.
Did you hear about the Ontario ad that got pulled? The Ontario ad that ran during
I did, and I'm not sure we should cover it only because we're going to get all
I
sorts
think we
of.
could talk. It's advertising. I think we have to
It's true.
talk about and basically what happened is that I mean, whatever happens if we don't get. Just so people know.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we talk about politics, we don't get the views we normally get. We know this is a thing.
Google basically penalizes us.
If we get penalized for talking politics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about this because it's not politics, it's advertising. Ontario ran an ad during the World Series about tariffs.
That's
and
right.
the ad came from Ronald Reagan.
That's right.
It's his words. They moved the order. They switched the order of what he said,
which they shouldn't have done because it didn't change the meaning at all. It's just they did it for time, I'm sure, but it's like it would have just been better to let it run.
It's a great speech, though.
It is a great speech.
Like
it was a great speech.
Whoever, if Ronald Reagan wrote that or somebody else wrote that for Reagan,
you know who used to write his speeches? Doris Kearns Goodwin.
I didn't
write his speeches.
Really. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you friends with Doris?
No, I don't know Doris Kearns Goodwin. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So, how should we wrap up the sports week?
I don't want to talk
utterly
about football.
Crappy teams.
I do not want to talk about football. It is just such a sad time in Cowboyville. It's just like and I'm sure all the Cowboy haters out there are like, Jerry Jones, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, I get it. I get it.
You know what here's what I couldn't believe. We were watching the Cowboys game. I was watching it with my youngest Adam, and we were having a discussion about who the most famous NFL owner is, and I said Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Close, right?
It's not even close. You know what he said? He said Robert Kraft, and I said no way. I said there's no way that Robert Kraft is more. I said Robert Kraft does not have a miniseries called America's Team.
Yes, that is correct.
It's not going to happen,
and it's unfortunate that that's the case, but it is.
But maybe the kids, maybe Gen Z, Gen Alpha think that it's Robert Kraft because of all the Super Bowl rings that Dallas and Cleveland haven't won.
Well, there's a point to be made there. I'm with you. There's a point to be made there that could be the case, that Robert Kraft has a wider level of awareness among the young crowd because of the frequency of Super Bowls that they've had in the last 10 years. But Jerry Jones is infamous. Let's put it that way. He
is infamous. He's on the Dr. Pepper commercials now.
I don't care. I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care?
I don't.
First, wait. There's two. First of all,
okay.
There's Dr. Pepper. Does the fans
love Dr.
commercial?
Pepper? Let's be clear. I grew up in Texas.
You love Dr. Pepper.
Two,
you love Jerry Jones. How do you not like those commercials? You love him.
I do.
You talk smack up. I'd take Jerry Jones as an owner in a heartbeat. I think that Jerry Jones is 1,000 times better than the ownership of Cleveland. Look, you can't get any worse than the ownership in Cleveland. Can't.
From a decision making and football perspective, I couldn't disagree with you more from a fact that he'll spend money to actually keep his team a successful business. He runs it like a business, and it's an extraordinary business. The Dallas Cowboys is an extraordinary business, but they're so successful. They are the number one valued sports franchise in the world. And so as a business, there is no doubting the success.
Even up
However,
switch, I'd do it. Even up switch with you
yeah,
right now. I would take it. I would. Oh,
you
I
can
would
please
love to
have
have
him.
Jerry
Please,
Jones.
please take him.
I'd
Please
love to
have
have
him.
Jerry Jones,
Yeah.
former, what George Steinbrenner did with the Yankees. I'd love to have pretty much at Elf. I'd love to have
Claude.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You should. That's what the
I
Cleveland
would-
Browns should do. Is they should have the first AI general manager. ChatGPT should be the general manager of the
I
Cleveland
think
Browns.
I think you're on to something.
I like it.
You know what's sad is I'll stay off. I'll finish with this because I know we have a marketing show to do.
Mhm.
But I'm a former Cleveland Browns season ticket holder, and
Yeah.
I get surveys. They surveyed me.
I get surveys.
They want to know what I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm apparently a very important person.
I'm see.
So they
Yeah.
email me the
Uh-huh.
survey, and they say, Joe, we've only sent this out to one person. You. We want to know what you think. What should we do? And I go through and I say what I think about moving the stadium.
Are these open-ended questions, or are these like
They're both. They're
how,
both.
How awesome do you think we are? Totally awesome, amazingly
Amazing,
awesome,
awesome. Just a little bit awesome.
Right, just a
yeah,
little bit
it's
awesome.
pretty much. But no, they're
Yeah.
both. And then there's time. And then it said, because I said, I'm not going to buy season tickets again.
Yeah.
And they said, what's the one thing that we would have to do so that you would buy season tickets again? That's open-ended question. And I answered, new ownership.
Oh,
I don't think the ownership sending the survey wants to hear that.
No, of course not.
But that's what
Yeah.
I would do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm honest. I don't know. And we
Yeah.
talked about it before the show. What's the strategy, folks? That's all. Even if it was a bad strategy, we talked about this with marketing stuff. Sometimes as long as you have a strategy, even a bad strategy can work a little bit.
100%.
When you have no strategy and you're doing this over here and this campaign and this and whatever, you absolutely will not work. But bad strategies, commitment to anything can work.
Yes, that's right. That's right. As I've said to many, many, many of my clients, the decisions you make are not nearly as important as actually making some. So
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's good. And that's good advice for this show and AI and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's where it mostly
just
comes up.
pick
Is
a
in marketing
direction.
strategy. Yeah.
Pick a direction and go. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you're out there. I wish you would talk to the Browns.
I would like
and
to
do
try.
something about this.
Well,
mess.
we'll just get ChatGPT on the job.
It would be better.
It
I
might
don't
be.
even have to see the result.
I will tell you this: do not have ChatGPT. I created a custom GPT to pick my fantasy team this year to help me as sort of an assistant coach in the draft. It was awful. It was horrible.
It probably didn't have the updated.
No, it had everything. It had all the updated stuff. Yeah, I built it with all the updated stuff as of like the day before the draft.
Okay, give me one example. Give me one example.
Brees Hall.
Of a bad pick.
It told me to take Brees Hall as the number one.
Brees Hall that went off and did amazing last week. That Brees Hall.
That Brees Hall that has done nothing but shit the entire season, except for last week when they played the Bungles. Yeah.
Don't you think that you need to judge ChatGPT off of a full year and not just the beginning?
I would like to judge it on my record so far, which is 3-12 right now. So
maybe you should stick with a strategy.
I did stick with the strategy. I stuck with the ChatGPT strategy, and it did not work at all.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So here I have two fantasy teams. One I auto picked, and one I picked myself. You want to know my records?
I'm sure the auto team did better than the
auto team. 7-1.
Yeah.
My pick is 3-5.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up with
yeah.
that?
But the fascinating thing about the ChatGPT thing was, and this was a test more than anything else from my perspective, but it was interesting because they picked statistically fantastic players, but they picked them on teams that there's nobody like receivers where there's nobody to throw them the ball. where there's running backs where there's no offensive line to do it. So they picked all these great players that on any other team might be fantastic, but on regular teams they don't, right? Anyway,
Daniel Jones is a good example of that, because
Daniel
you
Jones
take
is a
Daniel
perfect
Jones
example
and you
of that.
give him an offensive line and you give him an amazing running back.
That's right.
Wow,
all of
Daniel
a sudden
Jones
he's
is pretty
world
good.
class. Yep.
Pretty good.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right, let's get to a show.
Hmm.
We've got a good show. We're going to talk some big stories here. We're going to open up, talk about Amazon laying off 14,000 workers, or maybe it's 30,000 workers, or maybe it's 150 million workers. We don't know. The press releases are flying around. OpenAI is no longer a nonprofit. We'll talk about how they have now officially shifted to a for-profit status and what that might mean. Then we'll talk about a publication about the news that acquires a show about the news. Basically, a YouTube channel was acquired, and it's a very interesting story. And then Sephora, the makeup company, now has 1,000 creator storefronts. Is this the new franchise model? Yeah, fascinating sort of development there. Then we'll get to our winners and losers, where I will pick it's a weird one. It's a really interesting story about K-pop demon hunters, which I'm assuming you don't watch, Joe.
No, I don't want. I know of it.
It's
because it seems
huge.
to be everywhere.
It's enormous, yes, but it's a really fascinating story about content marketing and basically product development. Then you're going to talk about Grokipedia, because it's been a hot minute since we've talked about Elon, so we need to talk a little bit about him. And then we'll get to our Rants and Raves section, where I'm going to talk about, you see that a scene in The Green Mile where the guy goes, "I'm tired, boss." That's how I feel about WPP's new announcement with their $400 million investment into Google. And you're going to what do you have? You have a rave.
It's a rave. It's a rave. It's about newsletters, but not about
newsletters
monetization of them. About using them really to get a job.
Yeah,
which
I love it.
I think is fascinating. By the way, I always liked Michael Clark Duncan, who's the person that said that line.
Yeah, he was so good.
He was so good in that movie.
He died so young.
And everything. And he was really good, if you remember, in Armageddon. He was so funny in Armageddon.
Yeah.
Which was also funny was Ben Affleck's performance in Armageddon. Was
unintentionally, yes.
Might be, and I like Ben Affleck. Argo, fantastic performance in Argo. Armageddon, maybe the worst performance of his career.
One of the worst movies, actually.
And it did so well.
Yeah. You've heard this, you've heard the story about that, right? About
what's I've heard
the famous story
about it.
So basically Ben Affleck tells this story.
Okay.
He went to I think it was James Cameron, right? That did Armageddon.
I don't know.
And he basically said, "Hey, why would NASA basically hire a bunch of miners and try and teach them to be astronauts instead of just hiring a bunch of astronauts and teach them to be oil riggers?" It's like, it doesn't make sense. And James Cameron told them to F off, basically.
Well, the idea behind it is that it's harder to do the oil.
Right. But it's not. But it's really not.
But that's the way they set it up. And you know what? You can't replace the wisdom in Bruce Willis's career.
That's true.
I mean, if you needed if you needed a hole drilled, you called Bruce Willis.
That is true.
And you still do, by the way.
Anyway.
Don't even know what that means.
Let's move along. Let's get to our first story here, which is, of course, about Amazon. Last week, we talked about Amazon laying off a bunch of people for AI. It seems like every week Amazon feels the need to release a press release about how it's laying off even more workers and killing more jobs. And they did it again this week. Amazon is laying off up to 14,000 corporate employees. The company said it's cutting roles to help make the company leaner, less bureaucratic, while it looks to invest in generative artificial intelligence. The story, by the way, coming from CNBC. And it said this on Tuesday. In this blog post, the company wrote that the layoffs are being carried out to help make the company leaner and less bureaucratic, while it looks to invest in our biggest bets, including generative artificial intelligence. This generation of AI, says Amazon, is the most transformative technology we've seen since the internet, and it's enabling companies to innovate much faster than ever before in existing market segments and altogether new ones, said Beth Galletti, Senior Vice President of People Experience and Technology at Amazon. The fact that the People Experience and Technology is together in one job title makes me a little throw up in my mouth a little bit, but there we go. Okay. The layoffs are expected to ultimately be the largest corporate job cuts in Amazon's history. CNBC previously reported the cuts could affect as many as 30,000 employees. They cited sources familiar with the matter. So I have a take on this, but I would love to get yours because you suggested this story, and I would love to hear what you think what's really going on here versus what's being sort of the sort of jazz hands that we can see in all the press releases.
I talked a little bit about this in my Tilt newsletter last week. And this has happened before. It's not like this is the first time, but this is really getting some momentum where it's the cool thing. It's you get the check mark, you get the #1 rating for letting people go, especially on Wall Street. Every time that you say that you are letting people go, your stock goes up. You create more enterprise value. This is not the first time Amazon said this. Is like the third announcement in the last 3 months, and they're going to continue to do it. Everybody's like, oh, the chief financial officer and the chief executive officer of all these public companies, especially the Mag 10, if you want to call them, they are reaping the benefits of getting rid of as many employees as they can. And the easiest place to do that, at least to them, we can argue about whether it is or not, is on the corporate side, basically white collar workers, knowledge workers. And so it's cool to do that. It's financially, it's a good move for them. It's going to continue to happen. And those jobs, honestly, are not whether they're right or wrong, doesn't matter. I'm just saying they're not coming back. There's no plans. And it's interesting to see how more and more of these people are coming out, where years ago, when you had predictions that said, we plan on hiring X amount of people by 2025 and 2028 and 2030, those are going away. Now you have everybody come out and say, can we grow revenue? Can we grow our top line revenue by 20, 25, 30%? And at the same time, lower our head count, or at worst case scenario, keep it the same. So it's interesting to see this happen. Amazon's just the one we're talking about this week. This will continue to happen. And I told somebody yesterday, I said, we are in an environment where you could be amazing at your job. You could be the best at your job and go into work tomorrow and have that job not be there.
Sure.
So
100%.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
And marketing is part of this.
Yes. Well, this is, all of it is marketing, is operations, all the sort of mid-level, various functions here, legal for sure, accounting for sure, procurement for sure. All of that stuff is in many ways ripe for automation and for technological innovation. And it's interesting because I think they've really squeezed all the juice, I think, out of AWS. And so what you can see now is them sort of doing the same that they did with AWS, they're now doing with the retail side of the business. And that includes things like, they're sort of jettisoning off a lot of the businesses that I think that they don't, on that sort of more retail side, especially on the media side of the business, which is what makes this such an appropriate story for this show. Is, you can see them losing a lot of their podcast staff. You can see them losing a lot of the Amazon Prime Video people. You can see them losing a lot of marketing and content people in across all of those areas that are on sort of the retail side of the business. And so as that happens, it's totally what I object to, I guess, and I'll get more to this when we get to Rants and Raves, is the sort of the just blatant manipulation of, and the honestly very poor journalism that's going on here when it comes to this stuff. I mean, basically going for the clickbait headline instead of recognizing that, yes, they may be laying off 14,000 workers, but there aren't 14,000 people packing up their boxes today, right? All these people may happen over the course of the next year, or so. And that would be business as usual for any large company that has more than 1 million employees. By the way, this is, a drop in the bucket in terms of the number of employees that Amazon has on its payroll.
Well, let's yeah. So, and the numbers in here of 300, they have 350,000 corporate tech employees, meaning the 14% will be 4%, or the 30,000 will be 8%.
Right.
So 4 to 8%. So yes.
Right. And GE, what's the famous number from GE? GE every single year used to basically hatchet off the 5. It was a 5%, 5 or 6%, if I'm not mistaken. GE for the last 50 years would basically hatchet off the lowest, performing 5 or 6% every single year. So this does not, the numbers here are like, okay, fine, but it's, make a press release about it. The annoying part of this is, to your point earlier, which is this is what everybody's doing to sort of signal to Wall Street that, we're serious about efficiency and we're serious about this stuff, and blaming, by the way, AI and technology and automation for this. I guarantee you AI has very little to do with this. Very little to do with this. This is all them just trimming fat, trimming the, doing normal sorts of things and making a bigger news item out of it so that it signals to Wall Street that we're serious about making
I don't agree with you on
profitable.
that one. I cannot agree with you on that one, with Amazon specifically, because if you read some of the stuff that they've been doing in the boardroom that's been leaking out, and so this board is really keen on working with Andy Jassy, I think is the current CEO.
Sure. Yeah.
Saying, I think there's discussions saying, what's the minimum amount of employees that we can run this thing with in 5 years? Like, I think that they really, I mean, they're leaning
but
so
that's a
heavy
different
into
question.
robotics.
That's a different question. Well, no,
but I'm just saying, this is not just, you could look at it and say, this is business as usual. GE did it. Everybody did it. I don't think that this is that. I think this is what you're going to continue to see, is these large companies are really going to trim down and they're going to use the excuse of AI, and sometimes it will be valid and sometimes it won't be valid, where Amazon is trying to get down to the minimum viable company with the minimum viable employee base.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. What I'm suggesting is that at the practitioner level, it's not about AI. In other words, it's not. So whether it's a board excuse, whether it's a pressure from the board, I don't disagree with the overall pressure, which is what is the minimum, level of staffing that you need to perform this. But I don't think they're making that decision assuming that AI is going to replace all those people. Now, to your point, there's a separate discussion happening around the layoffs and or replacement of workers in the warehouse with robotics, right? That trend has been happening for a long time and will continue to escalate. I don't disagree with that at all. But for the corporate side, for professional knowledge workers, whether it's legal, accounting, marketing, all those, I don't believe what they're doing at the real, like when it really comes down to where the rubber's meeting the road right now, anyway, I do not see basically the narrative is that, yeah, we can replace all these workers with AI, but anybody who's saying that they can replace their workers with AI has a dog in the fight when it comes to making AI more valuable. So I don't believe the narrative. I just don't believe it.
I guess we'll see. I guess we both.
I don't disagree that it's happening. I just don't think it's really. I don't think that's really the issue. I don't think it's successfully replacing. I don't see anybody laying off half of their marketing team and replacing those with agentic AI bots and all of a sudden having amazing super success. I don't believe that will ultimately long-term play. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just suggesting that it's not a successful way to go forward.
Yeah. It's
and maybe
I guess the jury. I think so. Yeah. So I think it's happening. I think the jury's out on whether or not that's a successful move. Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
We don't know. But I think it's absolutely happening.
I think CEOs and boards are making stupid decisions.
Yeah, and they're not filling their open marketing positions. I mean, I've taught you and I have talked to a lot of people.
Well, that's true.
We see a ton of open positions out there that just are not. Nobody's responding to anything. It's like ghost town. It's like they're just not filling these roles. They want to see how long they can keep them open and see if they can fill them in, like, just naturally with the resources they have. So
they're trying.
They're trying.
Yeah, they're definitely trying. All right. speaking of which, speaking of AI, AI is no longer a actually, you know what? Let's pay some bills before we actually get to
You
this
were
story,
hedging.
because
You're like, I don't know what to do. Should we
yeah,
do another news story?
yeah,
Should we do an ad?
yeah,
Should we do?
yeah. Well, we're right at that sort of sweet spot time where paying the bills is good, but getting into another story is also good. So let's just pay some bills. And this is the last, by the way, this is the last one for our 90s grunge rock.
October,
So
and you got one gearing up for.
I have one on.
Oh.
I have one on deck. I've got a picture on deck for sure. Yeah.
Only ad program that I can put on LinkedIn and people watch
Exactly.
and comment on and want to wait for
Which, by the way, we get no credit for from our advertisers, but I'm not complaining. Yeah.
They're not upset. They just
I know they
haven't
just
really
don't
said
care.
anything yet.
Yeah.
But they will.
Started out with nothing but a mic and a file. Thought we'd change the world in lo-fi style. But truth is heavy and the bills got sharp. Now we're pushing HubSpot like it's modern art. You can track the click but not the shame. Our podcast sold to the marketing game. They said build a funnel, well, they will come. But it's hard to dream when your ad reads are no. We're just paying the bills with a podcast mic and NFL thrills. Yeah, we plug cloud tools while the lights stay on, but I scream each CTA like it's a breakup song. We're just paying the bills.
Being a know-it-all, it used to be considered a bad thing. But in business, it's everything. Because right now, most businesses only use 20% of their data. Unless you have HubSpot. That's where data buried in emails, call logs, and meeting notes, well, they become insights that help you grow your business. Because when you know more, you grow more. You see, being a know-it-all, it isn't so bad. Visit HubSpot.com today to learn more. Do you need a more inclusive podcast? Well, let me tell you about Inclusion and Marketing. Hosted by Sonia Thompson, Inclusion and Marketing digs into important topics like belonging, customer experience, and diversity, and how you can practice inclusive marketing authentically. Because when you lead with inclusivity, you win the attention, adoration, loyalty, and trust of a broader group of consumers. Get Inclusion and Marketing wherever you find your favorite podcast.
We're just paying the bills.
I think that's been my favorite one.
It's really good.
I
Yeah, it's
really-
really fun.
I
Yeah.
can listen to it. I mean,
Here's the
I
cool
just like
thing.
the song.
I was driving home last night from a dinner appointment, and I just stuck our podcast on to play in the background because I sometimes like to listen to hear what we sound like. And it was right at the moment where we were paying the bills, and I got to hear the song. So I kind of cranked it up in the car. It sounds great in the car. It
oh man,
sounds like, I always hear it in these sort of crappy little, sort of ear monitors here, which doesn't really lend itself to the, I mean, it's got some kick to it, right? So yeah.
although it's great and sad at the same time that you're rocking out in your car to our
paying the bills.
ad,
Yeah, exactly.
to the fourth or fifth rendition of Paying the Bills.
Yeah.
And then there'll be enough. What I love is it's always the same song. Like it's always the name of the song is always Paying
Totally.
the
The lyrics change to fit the style of the music. Yeah.
No, it's interesting. The last one that we promoted on the HubSpot network was Sonia Thompson, she does the inclusion and marketing. I wonder if it's tougher for her because in the last year or so, there's been a little backlash against inclusion and marketing. So I wonder if she's been like, I have to talk to her and see if she's been seeing more people listen or less people listen because of it, or just curious. I don't know.
I'll bet you it hasn't. If it's either increased or this would be my bet. It has either increased or it hasn't changed, because from all the companies I'm talking to, they all still have it. They're just not talking about it anymore. They
stopped doing the press releases on it, and
exactly. They stopped marketing around it. They stopped doing PR around it, and they stopped talking about it. Just basically to say, hey, listen, we still believe in it. We still want to do it. We still think it's important. Yeah. Just stop talking about it.
Yeah, but there's a couple of events out there, and this is from a few months ago, that were really sort of hit hard, that are in that inclusion space.
Yeah,
and I think you're right. I think people just stopped going.
Yeah,
and hopefully they'll come back to that. It's still a really critical topic.
It's super important. Yeah, it's super important.
Yes. Speaking of that, by the way, check out my hat this week. You see this is
what is that?
It's the Cleveland women's basketball team coming back to Cleveland in 2028. And I got a hat.
All right.
We signed up. We want season tickets. So we signed up.
Nice.
And for signing up for that, we get a hat. And of course I'm a sucker for hats.
Yeah, well, it's a nice one. That's a really good one. That's a good hat. It's a good hat.
For those of you listening, it's a CLE hat with a woman holding a basketball.
Yeah, that's probably appropriate given what the thing is advertising. Yeah, there you go. All right.
There you go.
Let's get to our next story here, which is coming to us courtesy of the New York Times, although there are a number of outlets covering this, and that is that OpenAI has now restructured to become a more traditional, as it says, for-profit company. The article opens up by saying OpenAI said on Tuesday, that was literally yesterday as we record this, that it had adopted a new for-profit structure, a long-sought change that could allow the business to operate more like a traditional company while it raises the billions of dollars it needs to develop artificial intelligence. A widely anticipated move was considered one of the keys to the future of OpenAI. It will allow the maker of the popular ChatGPT chatbot to raise new funds, because they've had such a challenge raising funds.
It's a horrible challenge.
Like any other company, and potentially set the stage for a blockbuster IPO on Wall Street. Don't kid yourself, folks. That's exactly what this is for. The shift also firmly establishes OpenAI as one of the tech industry standard bearers in the AI boom, allowing the San Francisco company to compete on more solid footing with giants like Google, Amazon, and Meta. The article goes on to go get some of the details of this, and Sam Altman is quoted. And so, implications to this, thoughts on this? What do you think? Does this change the industry at all, or is this just
no? It doesn't change the industry, but you're right. This will be, whenever it happens, it'll be the biggest IPO in history.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anybody that's going to think that that's not happening. It wasn't difficult for them to get money before. It's really not difficult for them to get it now. There were a couple of their major investors, like SoftBank, that were first, for whatever reasons that are in their playbook, they weren't allowed to invest anymore, but now they are. Yeah. So you're going to see that. What I thought was the most interesting going through it, we were talking about it before, 27% stake for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Worth 130 billion. 135 billion, something like that. Not a small chunk of change there.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is, depending on, Microsoft is allowed to do certain things and not allowed to do certain things, depending on if a panel decides that the ChatGPT, that OpenAI have gotten to artificial general intelligence. Yeah. So that's interesting. So I'm wondering who's that, or is it a group from Microsoft on the panel? Like, are they gonna
I guarantee you it's not. I guarantee you they will be informed of such things. Yeah, when the timing is right.
Unbelievable. We'll go down as maybe one of the best investments of all time. Like, we talk about, like, I always think, what's the best M&A deal that ever happened? And I think right now, I always think of Meta buying Instagram.
Sure.
Like, that's always for the $1 billion, and it's worth however.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hundreds of billions of dollars now. Yeah.
$1 trillion for all we know.
Instagram. So, I don't think it's all, but it's up there. Yeah.
And it's $500 billion. Whatever.
Instagram? No.
Okay. What's the market cap of Meta right now?
I don't know, but it's
Well-
not.
Well, well, here, I'm gonna find out right now. Here, hold on. We can do this. This is a live show. Market cap Meta, let's see.
1 point, almost 2 trillion.
2 trillion. So yeah. So you don't think that half of that is Instagram?
I do not think that half of that is Instagram.
Well, I don't either. But maybe like 400. So anyway,
100%, I would believe with 400.
Yeah.
400, I
Oh,
could
still-
go with 400
still
billion. I
pretty-
would definitely
still
go with.
pretty darn good investment. So
Yeah.
this one, beyond that point, this one from Microsoft is going down in history because their investment in 3 or 4 years is going to be worth $1 trillion all by itself when this thing goes public.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. This is the story that is the story, which is now how soon can they go public? Probably sometime next year, I would think. If they can get everything, all their ducks in a row and get prepared and get the investment bank and all that stuff. And I think they'll move quickly is my point. And they need to, because they need the money, which is, they are burning through cash. And I'm sure the ceiling is getting lower with the number of companies that not just want to invest, but actually can't. I mean, it's like everybody's in this game, right? And so
they have a lot of people rooting for them.
Oh, they got a lot of people rooting for them.
Yeah.
And
they're doing deals with everybody.
And a market cap that honestly is a little, we talked about this last week.
500 billion market cap.
It's crazy the amount of, it's so they could easily reach $1 trillion. They could be $1 trillion private company, which is amazing to think about when you think about it. But
which should be better for them actually if they just stayed that way. But
you would think so. But with that much investment, you can't, right? With that much venture investment, you have to go to the public markets because
some of the investors want exercised out. I understand.
Of course, right? They need a home run on this investment, right? They need, they need to double their money basically. They, a little incremental thing over long period of time. There's too much money at work right now, right? There's a lot of working dollars from these investment companies that are just it's too much to let sit there for a long time, and so. I think they'll move quickly here, but that's the real story here. And by the way, just the juggernaut that is OpenAI right now. But again, we talked about this last week as well. It feels very frothy. It feels very 2000-y, 2001, and all of that. So it will also be interesting to see in the next 8 to 10 months what happens in the broader world of the AI economy, because right now it feels very much like AI is propping up the economy.
Although we've heard about the AI bubble. I've been reading a lot on the AI bubble.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think we're close to it yet.
We may not be. We may be 2 or 3 years away.
I think we're getting into that area of you could make the case for it. But if you look back to where we were at 2000 and if you do a comparison to, let's say, Cisco Systems, which really got out of control from a price standpoint, and then you look at some of these other companies, like if you look at NVIDIA's forward times earnings and you look at some of the other Mag 10 forward earnings, they're not unrealistic.
No,
compared to where they're at for growth. So it's not, now OpenAI might be a different thing because a lot of this is on forward looking, but still. Something.
There you go. Something. All right. Very quickly here. Let's get to one more story here that we can talk about, which is that it is about YouTube and it is about Marketing Brew. Well, I should say Morning Brew. The Marketing Brew is part of Morning Brew. But Morning Brew is the news outlet. And they have purchased a show about the news, which is a YouTube channel and a show that is a YouTube channel, a show about the news, ASATN. And basically, it's hosted by a guy by the name of Sriha Sinha. And basically, Morning Brew, this opens up, this is from the published press. Morning Brew has acquired the rights to ASATN as it's running its ads and sharing a cut of ad revenue with its creators. Oh, there were only 2 people who actually talked about that as a sort of acquisition strategy. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm sure there was somebody else.
Sinha is joining Morning Brew as a full-time staff and will make videos for its main channel as well as for ASATN, while The others will continue to work on a show about the news as contractors. Sounds like a deal that I'm very familiar with. Yeah. Anyway,
all these stories come down to us.
yeah,
It's
they really
always-
do. It's all about us.
It's about
It's all
no
about
matter
us.
what happens in marketing news,
It's all about us. So, I mean, this is inevitable, is what I would say, and just a fantastic example of everything that we've talked about. Not to pat ourselves too hard on the back here, but just a fantastic example of, you don't. By the way, 30,000 subscribers. It's not like he's got millions and millions of subscribers to this show. It's 30,000 subscribers, but it's a great piece of content, a great content brand, and he's managed it well. And so it's just right for, acqui-hire for sure. But there you go. Yeah.
Well, again, I can't imagine how many times we've talked about this, but let's just say you want to work for a particular company.
Mm-hmm.
You look at and find some kind of a content gap. So let's say that Senna here wanted to do that. And he's like, oh, you know what? They don't have like a YouTube news show that they're definitely should be doing. Then bolt that on. I'm going to create that. And I'm going to build it up to 30,000 views. I'm going to do a show every couple days. And then I'm going to get a big paycheck from them. And I'm going to get hired on staff instead of going to them and interviewing. Like,
yeah, right.
This is just... It's content entrepreneurship 101, but you actually want the security and benefits from some other company. Great. Go ahead and do it. I mean, like, I don't know why more people don't do this. It's so, like, if you say, I want to work for the Dallas Cowboys in their marketing department,
right?
You could have 7 ideas to create something that ultimately they would want to buy your asset and then hire you on instead of, and you're never going to get that job the normal way.
Right.
So,
right.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. All right, let's get to our winners and losers, where Joe and I pick a winner from the last week of marketing or a loser from the last week of marketing. Would you like to go first and talk
I'll
about
go first.
Mr. Elon?
I don't know. You did not hear about this before I brought this up?
I heard something about it, but I do not have any details, so I'm curious to hear the details.
So what we're looking at right now is the interface to Grokipedia.
Oh, dear.
Which is basically an AI version of Wikipedia. Now, if I'm reading this correctly, what the thought is that Wikipedia has been leaning too far left and is not entirely accurate and fact-based.
Okay.
So
right.
Elon and his folks have taken Grok. I'll tell you about why this is the winner in a second. Not that I love this or anything, but it's kind of brilliant. He says, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to take the Wikipedia idea, and we're going to Grokify it, Elonify it, if you will, and we're going to redo all these things. So they have 885,000 different articles. I actually want to see, I haven't done this. I want to do this in real time. Let's ask them about the This Old Marketing podcast. Can we do that?
Sure.
Let's see what they say about This Old Marketing podcast. See if they bring that up. It's not even in there.
Yeah.
See,
there you go. Yeah.
Why this is yielded 3,600 results. I got to do something different. So let's do content marketing. Can we do content marketing?
Sure. Do content marketing.
This is terrible radio, by the way.
Yeah.
There we go. Content marketing comes up. Let's see what they have. There it is. It looks exactly like a Wikipedia page.
It really does.
Almost exactly. Oh, look, it's taken almost everything. Hey, by the way, these are all our examples that are in here that we've talked about forever.
That's funny.
Ben Franklin.
Are we mentioned
here? And Michelle. I don't know. Let's see. Going in through. No. This is not anything from. This is we don't like this. Let's see. Common metrics. Brand,
we don't like this.
We don't like this already because they've totally scrubbed us clean from this site.
Yeah, it looks it looks almost scraped from.
Oh, they have. Okay,
it
actually is. They have what is content marketing from Content Marketing Institute. That has both of us in there. History of content marketing. Yeah, this is actually pulled almost directly from. They scraped Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, I don't know how I feel about this now that I'm looking at it, but the point is, it's a marketing winner because if the goal is for people to use more Grok, they will. Because this will turn people on, I think, to Elon's AI tool, which seems to just be a complete ripoff of Wikipedia.
Shocking. Yeah, I'm shocked.
Can't be happy. If you're at Wikipedia, you can't be happy right now.
No, I'm shocked that
There's no repercussion here, though.
No. it's all there. It's all there for them to just scrape and do themselves. It's like, you know, I'm going to come back to it. I'm tired, boss.
I'm tired.
Yeah,
It's nothing. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't see,
there's that.
basically what's that? You didn't watch Westworld, right?
No.
Westworld was
No, I
the
did not.
famous line from Westworld was when all the androids would see something that they didn't want you to pay attention to, or they didn't, they wanted to sort of deny. They would
Mhm.
say, I don't see anything here. it doesn't look like anything to me.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is. It doesn't
That's
look
what
like
this is.
anything to me.
Doesn't
Yeah.
look like anything. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Very quickly
Yep.
here, I am going to talk about K-pop Demon Hunter. I'm sure some of you are out there now cheering because it is a huge, huge thing for Netflix. Huge show for Netflix. It's fun. It's a really fun little show if you're into such things.
Is it
It's animated. It's an anime
animated
thing.
show.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
as you might think it is, given the title. And Rumi, by the way, you're going to see the main character, the main character there. You're going to see so many Halloween costumes, and this is really the story. God, this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter that we'll link to in the show notes there. But basically, Netflix signed a deal this week with Mattel and Hasbro to manufacture the K-pop Demon Hunters toys. Now, here's the thing. They went to those, they shopped this before the show came out, and nobody cared. Like, nobody signed up.
Okay.
And they basically talk about, Netflix basically says, look, there was nobody wanted this before we started. And the problem is that they have now introduced this, which is lovely and wonderful, and they're going to make a giant pile of money, basically, probably from this in the short term. But because they're signing this deal so late, only after the show has come up so quickly and so fast and become sort of a viral hit, nothing's going to be available for Halloween, and nothing's really going to be available for Christmas. So they can't take advantage of the virality of the content with the toys and the manufacturing, because basically the toy manufacturers and the entire market basically was unwilling to take a bet. And interestingly enough, from my perspective, is that it looks like to me Netflix wasn't really willing to take a bet on this either, because they could have funded this. They could have funded sort of the manufacturer. They could have basically ponied up the dollars and had, basically hired Hasbro or Mattel to make the toys. So it's such a wonderful lesson to learn in today's world, where content and media rises. The old Paul Simon lyric, every generation throws a hero up the pop charts, right? Well, now it's every 2 weeks we throw a hero up the pop charts. And the rise of these kinds of media properties, how quickly they rise, is a new challenge for monetization in terms of product and manufacturing. Because even though product, development and manufacturing have been completely exponentially sped up, they're still not at the speed of which media operates these days and content operates these days. So there's such a great lesson to be learned here about what the future of licensing and productization of media properties looks like, because in order to take advantage of this very short half-life, because who knows, by spring next year, K-pop Demon Hunters is, who cares about K-pop Demon Hunters anymore, right? Maybe it lasts, probably won't. There will be something new. And I just think it's a fascinating, so I'm not sure whether it's a winner or a loser here. I just think it's a fascinating, because they're going to win. They're going to make money off of this thing probably in the new year, because it'll last into the new year for sure, and a post-Christmas rush and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But did they miss the boat is the interesting question here. I just think it's fascinating.
Yeah. I did not realize how big it was. I mean,
it's huge,
like crazy big.
Yeah, it's the #1 show I think right now on Netflix, and has been for some time. 36 million streams or something like that. It's crazy popular.
I'll have to live my K-pop Demon Hunter future through you.
It's fun too. It's a fun show. It's a very.
Do you
fun...
watch is it like an episodic thing? It's not just a movie.
Yeah.
They're episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like
It's a movie. It's not an episode. It's a movie. You watch the movie.
It is okay.
It's a movie. Yeah.
Maybe I'll Yeah, I should.
You should
watch
give it a shot because it's actually not a TV show that you have to sit for week after week. You can.
Okay,
watch them.
well, if my commitment is 2 hours in one sitting, I'm open to this.
I don't even think it's 2 hours, dude. I think it's
If it's an hour and 38, even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Let's get to our rants and raves very quickly here before we get the heck out of here. And that's where Joe and I go off on a little bit of a rant or a little bit of a rave over something that makes us feel like we're married to Justin Trudeau, or dating Justin Trudeau, I should say, or that we're dating Katy Perry. One of the two. Okay,
Would you date Justin Trudeau? If Justin Trudeau
Would I date Justin Trudeau?
Yeah.
He's pretty dreamy. He's
is
pretty
pretty
dreamy.
dreamy.
He's got dreamy eyes.
And
sure.
he's got money too.
Does he?
I'm pretty sure he does.
I mean, Katy
Because
Perry has money.
I saw a picture of Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau on a big boat.
Well, but
And
Katy,
it wasn't
Perry
like
money.
Royal Caribbean.
That's some Eye of the Tiger or whatever money that's going on there.
Roar.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to go first here?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So this is a cute little story. Cute as in you should read it.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring up here from the Inbox Collective. Really good article. Ways your newsletter can pay off that don't involve reader revenue or ads. It got me right away. It was like the benefits of newsletters if you don't want to directly monetize it. And I love this. There's a whole section on job offers or new paying work. It leads right into the thing we were talking about for the YouTube story.
Yeah.
For Morning Brew buying out the YouTuber. I believe this. I believe that if you want to have protection as an employee of a company, the best thing you could do is create something that the algorithm cannot touch. A newsletter, a membership of some kind, a video series. You can promote it through YouTube, but something that you have that you can create your own brand around, a podcast, something, a small in-person event, something that you can do that somebody might want to go ahead and purchase. Or when you go in for that interview, say maybe you lose your job or you want to go somewhere else. If you say, here, I'm doing this that fits perfectly in what that other company's doing, you're a leg up above everyone else. It's the same thing that happened with the YouTuber. And this article goes through all sorts of really good situations and examples where, hey, this person had this newsletter, somebody reached out to them, hired them. Hey, this person had this newsletter, somebody reached out to them, hired them, and took that asset as well. This is not something that's just happening in isolation. It's happening all around the world. There's some really great examples from Australia and Europe that if these are happening as well as the United States. So I just think that, I mean, this is an email newsletter, folks. It's not like we're doing like really new types of content. It's just you're saying, hey, here's my expertise area. Here's my tilt, my differentiation. I know a little bit more about this than most. I'm going to put this out into the world on a consistent basis. I'm going to build a little bit of an audience, and you've set yourself up for diversification if something happens.
Yep, 100%. That's such a smart move. So even if it's not on the topic that you're actually interviewing for, right? You know, even if it's on a topic you could be some passionate thing that to your point, have a content tilt on, right? Which is, you know a little bit more about this than the average person, and you're going to write about it and put it out there, and you're passionate about it. So you want to do it because look, that's an important thing. You have to want to do this. And you know, if it becomes a thing where you have to do this and you feel it's going to come through in the writing, it's going to come through in your content. So make it something you want to do. And that 100% is a great advice.
I was doing a presentation yesterday and a marketer asked that, said, hey, should I focus this on what my current profession is, or should I do it toward my hobby and my passion? And I honestly said, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
The point is own something.
Yeah.
Create the asset.
That's right.
Create the asset. And if you look at, if you look at the difference between a multimillionaire and somebody that just works a regular job, just paying the bills, it's the amount of different revenue sources and assets that they have. That's it. If you just looked at on the surface, it's like somebody who's a millionaire has 6, 7, 8 different ways they're making money. And somebody who's not generally just has a job. Nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it is. So you want to make sure you diversify, create assets, and open up the possibility for new revenue opportunities.
I love it.
There you go. Okay. What do you got?
Very quickly. It's a very, very quick rant. And it gets to what I talked about earlier, where I feel like Michael Duncan Hall is like, or Michael Hall Duncan, rather. Sorry.
Michael Clark Duncan?
Michael Clark Duncan. Good goodness gracious.
Tired.
Yeah,
That's okay. You're tired. Everybody's tired. It's the end of the show. We're tired.
Yeah. I'm watching Dodger games go until the 18th inning. Anyway, I'm tired, boss. Anyway, so here's what I'm tired about. So this article caught my eye because it's in my world, right? The world of agencies and consultancies and sort of the way it works. And basically the press release here, there are a number of the Financial Times covered this, the Wall Street Journal covered this, their big news outlets covered this story, which is ostensibly a press release. And it's basically the gist of the story is that the headline is that WPP is going to invest $400 million into becoming an AI first sort of agency through its partnership with Google, which if you read between the lines, and you don't have to read very far between the lines, basically what happened here is that it's a commitment over a number of years of spend across different early access to software and enterprise software that would basically fit across the entirety of WPP. So it's actually a pretty modest investment if you think about it over the course of 4 years across the scope that is WPP, the number of agencies that would need and the number of people that would need access to this level of AI enterprise software for things like creation of images, creation of marketing copy, creation of content, et cetera, et cetera. And which fine, go, WPP, do WPP. You go do you, right? I'm honest with that. Fine. The problem I have with this, and the reason that I'm sort of saying I'm tired, boss, is because it used to be like this. All this is the equivalent of the Financial Times or the Wall Street Journal or major newspapers covering my little company. If I said tomorrow, hey, I'm going to buy a 4-seat license to Salesforce, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm shaking up the market because I'm going to buy a 4-seat license to Salesforce. You should write a story about that. It's like the only reason that this has any legs at all is because it's the number of dollars being tossed about here, which we've talked about before, the idea of this narrative becoming the story rather than the story actually becoming the story. And the idea that it's Google and WPP. So it gets to what I was talking about earlier with just sort of the state of where journalism is today. I remember working with my PR agency as a small software company, as a small consulting firm, as a big consulting firm, even, sort of mid-tier consulting firm, trying to get the attention of big newspapers and journalists to cover what we thought were really interesting stories about disruptive clients or, the kinds of things like that. And time and time and time again, the pushback we would get from journalism is our readers, this isn't a big enough story. This isn't an interesting enough story. This isn't a thing. Right. And it's where we have come with journalism, business journalism especially, is that if it's got the words WPP, hundreds of millions of dollars, and Google involved, and the words AI, we'll run it. We'll run it as a story. This story says nothing. Like, read the story. It says nothing other than, hey, we're going to spend some money on some enterprise software, which, again, I guess I'm saying good for WPP for getting it covered. But my rant is really against the journalists and the newspapers and the coverages out there that just sort of completely just like, this has become sort of de rigueur for the way that businesses go to market now and affect the valuation and marketing of their company. I talked about this earlier a few weeks ago with McKinsey, right? When they did that tell-all in the Wall Street Journal about how AI was affecting their entire company. But it was clearly a puff piece written by the PR and comms people at McKinsey. Yeah. Great for the McKinsey PR and comms people. Very talented. Good for you. Journalism, stand the fuck up, right? That's all I have to say. Anyway.
Ooh, yes. Let's go.
Yeah. Anyway.
I read this press release from WPP.
Yeah.
2 things to say on it. First, this is really boring.
Really boring. Like, who cares?
Second, this thing was written by ChatGPT.
100%. 100% it was written by AI. Yes.
And you know what? By the way, I don't have a problem if you put the initial draft and you say, give me a template, give me a look for what this. But you know what? Have an editor go in.
Oh my gosh.
And like spice it up a little bit. Like this is Cindy Rose said, Thomas Kurian said, Lord. I mean, this is just the state. Oh, come on.
I know.
Man.
I know.
You are worth billions of dollars. This is the best you got. Bring it.
I guarantee you, none of these people said any of those things. That ChatGPT came up with the quote, maybe it was edited by some practitioner somewhere in the building. And then they sent that email to Cindy going, hey, here's the quote we've got for you for the press release. You good with this? Give us a thumbs up. And then you got that sort of thumbs up reply. Cindy has replied to your email. Thumbs up, right? It's like,
here's something a human being has never said: transforming WPP clients' businesses with new bespoke AI solutions built with Gemini. No one would ever say that.
No one ever say that.
No one ever says that. I mean, unless if you're talking about a bespoke suit or something like that, and then maybe, I don't know.
Secure, privacy-first data collaboration. Preferred access to Google's cutting-edge AI. And of course, the Google people are like, wait a minute, you're going to spend money and say nice things about us? Okay, go for it. Use the logo. We're good with that.
Totally fine. I just, you know what? We deserve better. We deserve better.
Yeah.
And to your point about, opportunities for human beings, the bar is so low with some of this stuff right now. I.e. this press.
You know what I'm tempted. Man. You know what I'm tempted to do? I'm very tempted as a test for Seventh Bear, my little company. I'm tempted to announce a $500 million investment in OpenAI to become an AI first agency of one person. And it's a 50-year investment. I'm making a 50-year commitment to OpenAI to spend up to $500 million. That's the announcement I want to make on a press release. See who covers it.
Nobody's going to cover that.
I know they won't, because my name's not WPP, and I don't have Cindy and Jack and all the other ones to sort of have comments from.
You could like be WPB.
Yeah,
and then you could WP Bear,
PB&J,
PB&J. It's like. It's like
PB and J.
WPB and J.
Yeah.
That didn't come out right. Anyways, what do you got going on?
I got another glutton for punishment game I've got coming up on Monday night. The Cowboys play, so we'll see. This is their last game before they go into a bye, and hopefully can fix what ails them. Other than that, no, I got some. Oh, I'm going to the doctor later today to get some eye things taken care of. But
I thought you were going for a colonoscopy.
No. That's not time. That's not that happens at a different part of the year. So
got it. Yes.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, the Browns won't lose this weekend.
They're on a bye.
I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And I'm running a half marathon this weekend.
Oh, wow. That's I'm so inspiring, and
I've been
really at the same time.
I've been really working on getting my times down. So I'm going for a PR. I would like to, and I will let you know how that goes.
Okay.
But I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling better than I ever have. And so I'm very confident, going into this one.
Congratulations. That's huge. That actually is. I make fun of it, but it's really awesome.
Thank you. We'll see. Yes, I've been really gearing up on the running but the difference between this one and all the other ones is I used to just run.
Yeah.
And so I'd run 20 miles a week. I'd gear up for the half marathon. This half marathon, I've been running and doing resistance training. It's the first time before a half marathon I've ever done this.
Oh, wow.
And my times, just not changing the mileage, changing the strength training, my times are down like 30, 45 seconds a mile. Like it's really incredible. And I don't even notice the difference.
Wow.
So
that's incredible.
I'm really curious to see. I haven't run this far in a while to see if I go 13-1, see what happens. So I'll let you know.
Fantastic.
There we go.
All right. Well, fantastic. Thank you all for hanging around. Thank you all for hanging to the end of the show. We will be back again next week with a regular show and all the nonsense. And by the way, with a new song and a new ad, that'll be fun. Hope you all have a wonderful, happy, safe Halloween. And until we see you again next week on the show, just remember, it's your story to tell. Tell it well. We'll see you next week on This Old Marketing. Hey, thanks a lot for making it this far in this week's episode, and thank you all for being a part of This Old Marketing. You can check out all the show notes of what we talked about today at thisoldmarketing.com, and it's also where you can leave us a review or a voicemail. We need those reviews and comments on whichever platform you follow us on. And if you haven't followed the podcast, please go do that and make sure you catch the latest and greatest episodes every Friday morning. We're on Apple and Spotify and all your other favorite podcatchers, of course, but we'd love it if you went over and subscribed to us on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. youtube.com/@thisoldmarketing. We'll see you again next week, folks, with another episode of This Old Marketing.